What is going on, everybody? William2K here, and we're back with another episode of Stoneblock 2. I hope everybody had a wonderful holidays, Christmas, Hanukkah, whatever you choose to celebrate. But we are back, a little bit delayed as the holidays. And today we are going to be expanding our crafting system as these two processors get taken up very quickly, and we've also ran out of room in our pattern providers. That being said, we're going to push this wall out and that wall over there to add many more of these crafting storages and also providers. I think I'm also going to push this wall back just a little bit to add a bunch of ME drives, as if we jump down on here, we can see that 5 of these are pretty much almost full. This one's doing okay, but we're going to want a lot more storage, as well as our channels. So we're going to push this back, add our drives, and also expand our storage. Other than that, we'll probably just do a little bit of base maintenance, get a couple things automated, such as these Certus quartz crystals, maybe the Fluix crystals, and a couple other resources. And since they all apply to logistics, we'll probably just stick the mechanisms here and probably also here and here in the wall to make those resources, as we won't need a lot of them constantly, and they'd really only be used for AE. So here's our first system of mini. I was expanding this and realized that I was going to need some Fluix dust, Fluix crystals, and also quartz crystals. So this system here, we have an ME line running over from our automation down here. Editing Will here. Basically, I did a terrible job of explaining this in the actual video. So basically, this system is going to make Certus quartz crystals, it's going to make Fluix crystals, and Fluix dust. At the moment, we're importing the quartz crystal dust from the system in the other room, and we're combining that with sand in the crafter in the top left, and then we're putting our seeds in the growth chamber, which then get exported into the drawer. The drawer has a maximum of 1,280, as do the Fluix crystal drawer as well. For the system on the bottom, we are basically making a closed loop system. It takes a Fluix crystal, grinds it into 2 dust, and then takes the dust, combines it with sand, puts that in the crystal growth chamber, and we'll do so until we have a maximum of 1,280 in the drawer as well. Then all the rest will continue to turn into dust until that drawer is full, and then the system is full in its entirety. And here is our new wing of the base. So each of these are 3x3. They total, what is that? About 13 molecular assemblers and about 14 pattern providers each. And we have 3 of them. If we open our pattern terminal, we can now see that we have plenty to choose from. Quickly, I decided to claim our rewards. Here's a little summary. Diamond Paxel to upgrade our own Paxel. Other than that, just kind of a low-level assortment of items. The next thing I did was I went ahead and made a 10-10-10 uranium chicken just so we could get some uranium going. That system over there is fine, except this one is infinite, and it really just relies on the chicken, and it's much smaller and easily expandable. While we're not using this uranium at the moment, it can be useful later when we start to convert it into the uraninite for the reactor. So I went ahead and set up this uranium chicken to get the process going. The next thing that I went ahead and accomplished was switching over this to be able to store petals. This will help us later when we get into Botania, as we will need all of these colors of petals in order to proceed with that mod. The next objective that we accomplished was expanding our chickens. We added in a lot of the metals, including lead and copper, to make some of this system over here a little bit redundant. But I figured that we would do this as this is a surefire way. The tick rate and resource generation, especially having items not dropped on the ground, is a little bit better. And if we look at the aluminum here, it seems as if we're getting about 2, 3, maybe 4 a second, which is a better rate as well. And finally, the last little bit of housekeeping is going ahead and automating this uraninite production using our raw uraninite. We also have included the uranium bars that's being made from the uranium chicken here as extra in case we happen to run out of these. And also I went ahead and made a spirited reactor. So let's go ahead and get this placed. And there we go. We've already configured the import, so it should go ahead and start running immediately. And our second reactor. Well, we might have went a little overboard. I went ahead and made all 4 reactors, put a little bit more auto crafting. I was just going to do the ender core, but I figured while I was at it, I'd do the rest. So we even have things here like the antimatter relay, the chests for Project E, and the covalence dusts. I figured while I was at it, I'd just go ahead and hook these up with everything else into the system that we already have here. This thing back here is working like a charm, and so are these reactors. Now, as you notice, they're all empty, and that's because I made that thing right there. So this here is an ender cell, and you basically make it and it doesn't do anything. Then you have to make energy cells to put into it to increase its capacity. I believe that I have made 25 of them, and we can now store 10 billion FE, and then we use it with these ender gates. I played around with them a little bit. We now have the power coming out of these reactors with them, but so far that's the only thing using it. And I'm still using the flux plug here because, well, we just have so many. I need to go around and replace all these eventually, but for now this is the system. And now on to what we're going to be working on today. So I looked through the quest book a little bit, but ultimately I believe that we want to start looking at getting into Project E. For this, we're going to need a Philosopher's Stone, which means we're going to need a Nether Star. And that poses another issue on its own. So that means we need to figure out a way to automatically farm the Wither. So that's going to be our next step. I'm going to do a little bit of testing in a test world and figure out the solution that we want to go with for that. I figured I'd take a little break and actually open some chance cubes. So, well, there's chance cube number 1. Alrighty, chance cube number 2. A cookie explosion. Chance cube number 3. And chance cube number 4. And a little bit of enchanting later, we now have our things roughly enchanted. I went ahead and put sharpness and soul stealer onto my refined obsidian sword to use with the soul shard that we just crafted. So the basic rundown of how this works is we're going to have to run all the way out here to the nether, and inside of the fortress we're going to find wither skeleton. We then need to put this on our hotbar and kill wither skeletons with this obsidian sword to fill up the soul shard. Once we get back to base, we can make a soul cage and put the spawner in it. Then once we apply a redstone signal to the soul cage, it should start to spawn wither skeletons. Then go ahead and add the mob masher upgrade of beheading, and then we should get a satisfactory amount of wither skeleton skull drops. I looked through a lot of results and a lot of things, and it really looks like our best bet is to just make the wither builder. The wither builder is more or less an in-game item from Industrial Foregoing, and it needs aether gas and a bunch of other things, so we won't quite be doing that as of yet. We're just going to farm the wither manually a couple times to get nether stars, and then after that, go ahead and make our philosopher's stone. Another small thing is we were able to finally get our smart chicken. I just threw some eggs at the floor that I got from a bee and was able to get a baby chicken, use a book on it, and you get the smart chicken. At the moment, I'm breeding a 10-10 one, and we'll be sticking it in here so that we will have a bigger supply of eggs. Alrighty, and here we are. We've entered the domain of the wither skeleton. Let's just start to explore. So be careful, don't want to be falling into the lava. Our first victim. Epic Piglin has fallen. I don't really know how to deactivate the spawner apart from getting like a cardboard box or something from Mechanism, but we don't really have a sawmill set up or anything for that matter. So I guess I will just block the area off so that these guys stop coming at me. Okay, now our next step, since we've cleared the top and we have found the wither skeleton spawner, is I'm going to want to isolate this spawner. Ooh, not like that. I'm going to want to isolate this spawner here so that we can get the wither skeletons to spawn a bit easier. And we're just going to do that by building a little platform here. so that they have more surface area to spawn on. And now we have a little wither spawning area. So our next step is to just basically sit here and, well, kill them until our soul shard is max level. And there's a tier 1. So I checked and we have 1024. Seems like we're getting 4 or 5 souls per kill, so I have like 150 more of these things to kill, but then we should be well on our way to farming the wither. And after a little bit of time, I have a tier 5 wither skeleton charm. So I basically made a little system here, harvest experience, turn the fans on, blow all the wither skeletons right here so I don't have to go chasing them. We also got 8 skulls and some loot boxes, which I would open here if it wasn't so loud. So let's head back to base where we can hear ourselves think. Obviously these are just gonna be clay, and then we'll do the commons. A lot of music discs. We'll do the rares. Alrighty, and then our uncommon. Whoops. Coolest thing's a mana blaster, but even that's not super exciting. And then our epics. So now that we have our soul shard, our next thing is to get a soul cage. And we are back. We are in our mob spawning room. I made it way below the base. It's a couple jumps down from our main area to keep it out of the way of anything else, and also to keep these sounds far away so they didn't intrude. I let it run for a little while. We got a large assortment of loot boxes, 199 common loot crates, and 1 legendary loot crate. But so here's the explanation. On this side we have normal mobs. On this side we have wither skeletons. As this is what we were working for so long, I'll go ahead and explain this first. When the switch is toggled, it activates a spawner here and spawns wither skeletons. The wither skeletons are pushed by these 3 fans into this mob grinder. The mob grinder kills it, and then there's a vacuum hopper underneath here that takes the drops, pipes it along over into a storage controller, which is under the floor, and puts it in here. As you can see, it's been running for quite a while, and I have almost 2,000 wither skeleton skulls. This also has a beheading upgrade in it, so that we should get more skulls from that as well. Over on this side, it's a very similar system, except the switch controls the lights instead of the spawner, as we don't have one. And we have the dreadful dirt in there to increase spawns, and one of these things in the back, I forget the name of it, but it's to keep the enderman from teleporting. So we just flip the switch, the lights go off, and mobs can spawn even if we're right here. Again, like the wither skeletons, all the drops are piped into these drawers. A few of them, such as the coal and the wither skeleton skulls and bones, all have void upgrades on them, but as of yet, only the slime and rotten flesh have the void upgrades for the other drops. And again, loot crates. Finally, this here was our temporary, or is our temporary spawner to fight the wither skeleton. Or sorry, the wither, just wither. And so this glass, this tinted glass, is supposed to be wither-proof, so we can't blow it up. And eventually we're probably going to expand this out into a hallway to have our automated withers killing devices kind of along this hallway. I figured we'll need a few, as it seems nether stars are needed plentifully in this pack. Let's go ahead and pick that up and go ahead and summon our first wither boss. And there he is. So hopefully he doesn't cause too much damage to our area. He is an acclaimed chunk, so I'm hoping that that keeps some of his damage done, and this glass will keep the rest of it done. And now we just gotta hit him on down and try not to get hit by the wither. And there we go. The first wither has been slain, and we have claimed our nether star. And so it is finally time to use our first nether star to make the Philosopher's Stone. And there we go. We now get an achievement for Alchemist's Best Friend and start to have the ability to make things. The first thing that we're going to want to make is actually alchemical coal. Because if we take this normal coal I guess it could be better to do it in this table so that we can store more than one stack. And go ahead and put some of our mob crushing things back. We can get 8 stacks of that, and go ahead and put that in there with that, and get 2 stacks of that, and lastly 32 stacks of that. And now we should be able to craft it around a block of diamond, which let me just go ahead and get a bunch to get our first 4 pieces of dark matter. And we're back in our AE room. So our next step is, well, a little bit varied. We're going to start working towards the neutron collector. It needs the extreme crafting table and crystal matrix ingots. The rest of these things seem pretty simple. The matrix ingots are, well, going to need our nether stars that we started on getting this episode, and the extreme crafting table. The extreme crafting table is going to require the create mechanical crafters as well as more of these crystal matrix ingots. So that means, well, we have to set up automated wither. It means we have to set up our create room again, because if y'all don't remember, I destroyed our old mechanical crafter upstairs, as well as, well, have been trying to get rid of this table, this assortment of items as well, and move it all to a different room. We've cleared most of this in, so that means we have to rehome all this stuff, make a new create room. Besides for that, after we get these items, we're going to be able to make neutronium ingots, which is one of the things that we need in order to make all of the in-game items, as well as, right here, the transmutation table. It only needs a nugget, so we really only need 2 ingots, as well as the rest of the things. Now, once we have the automated nether stars up, the nitro crystals won't be any issue. We'll work on dark matter, and the netherite upgrades shouldn't be much of an issue either. These items here in the center might take a little bit more work, but all in all, we should be able to automate this more or less with ease. So next episode, we will be working on getting our transmutation table and getting Project E going just a little bit more. All right, guys, well, I know we didn't accomplish much. We got our mob grinders set up for both normal mobs and wither skeletons, and started on skull and nether star productions. We were also able to craft our first philosopher's stone of the pack, and it also looks like we got the Lexica Britannia Writer's Edition. Opening this should, give us a achievement. So that's going to let us skip a little bit, but not really a whole lot, because Britannia is kind of a step-by-step process. Between episodes, I'll probably go ahead and move those create things, get that automated crafter set up, and get everything ready for the next episode. I just wanted to go ahead and get this one out because we were a little delayed because of the holidays. Once again, happy holidays, everyone. I hope everyone had a fantastic time over the holidays. And other than that, thank you everybody for watching. If you like the content, there'll be more to come. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button, and if you like the video, leave a like, and any feedback is welcome in the comments as well. Anyways, I hope everyone has a good night, and I'll talk to you later. See ya.